Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot is
NBC Sports welcomes you to Pocono Raceway this afternoon for the running of the Pocono 400, part of the one-time stop down into the Pocono Mountains. This unique three-turn earned oval, well, triangle, technically, is going to require complete concentration from all of these drivers. Anyways, the weather here is a beautiful day for a race. No cloud in the sky, a lot of sun on the racetrack. We are going to have a beautiful race today. Qualifying, however, was pretty interesting. On the front row, we've got two Ganassi guys. They've usually qualified mid-pack or towards the front. And these two drivers are going to lead the field to the green flag in a few moments. And speaking of those few moments, here is your starting lineup. Row 1 finds the Target Chevrolet and the McDonald's Mack Tonight Chevrolet. Row 2 finds the Busch Beer Chevrolet and the Lowe's Chevrolet. Row 3 finds the Auto Trader Ford and the Mobile One Chevrolet. Row 4 finds the Furniture Row Toyota and the Caterpillar Chevrolet. Row 5 finds the Cheerios Chevrolet and the 24 car. Row 6 finds the Exalta Chevrolet and the Autotrader.com Ford. Row 7 finds the Aris Internet Modems Toyota and the Zestfully Clean Ford. Row 8 finds the Tide Toyota and the Liftmaster Chevrolet. While we look through the rest of the field here, let's see if we can mic up Dylan Murway. Last week's winner in the Pepsi 400. Hey, this is Dylan Murway. Hey, Wally, this is Dylan Murway up in the NBC booth. You got us? One more time. Hey, Wally, this is Dylan Murway. This is Wally Dolan back up in the NBC Sports booth. You got us? Yeah. So you needed that win last Saturday night at Daytona was quite the confidence booster that you guys needed. How are you going to ride the momentum into today's race? Well, it's like when you score a big win in any professional sport, you don't want to get too cocky or arrogant because this sport has a really good way of just slapping you in the face. I mean, most of the early part of summer has just been just struggling and bad luck ever since our win at Talladega. But we really stepped up our restricted plate program this year. We coordinate a lot with Rick Hendrick and some of their drivers to help our program. Anyways, when it comes to today, our Busch Beer Chevrolet is actually really good. I feel pretty confident about our car today. I feel pretty confident about the car. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how slick this track is going to be and if people are going to downshift and upshift today to save fuel. It's going to be interesting today. See one of our onboard he is one of our 6 onboard cameras this afternoon. The second one is Joshua Leanpatch, starting all the way back in 33rd today due to a crash in Saturday morning's qualifying session. Hunter Miller with the Liftmaster on board. Hot Wheels 44 with the Caterpillar on board. Jacob Tube with the IHOP on board. Derek Lewis with the Coca-Cola on board. And Dylan Murway with the Busch Beer on board. Your race info sponsored by McDonald's this afternoon. Laps is going to make up the distance today. Gorgeous weather. Not a single cloud is in the sky. Perfect weather to race. Weather to race, 11 laps, 34 cars. It's going to be quite the show. Pace car is off in front of a sellout crowd. Everybody in the front stretch is in their seats. Now they're on their feet, getting ready to send these guys off racing at Pocono on NBC. Inside, watch the one. One did not get a good start. 48's with you, 22, watch 22, inside, 22. Boy, the one car did not get going all that well on the initial start. He really kind of clogged up the field right there. You see the 78 is going to get by. He by along with the 14 and the 48. Off they go into the tunnel turn. It's very tricky, especially with how sensitive some of the aero packaging in these cars are. They make side force very, very critical, especially at a place like this. You see right here, you can go through side by side like we saw the 14 and the 48 did earlier, and you could pull it off. As we notice right there, looks like Derek Lewis is going to come off of 4. And he will lead the first lap this afternoon at Pocono. Some guys occasionally will want to snake down this front straightaway to break the draft. See, it's a common racing move seen on tracks like this. We're going to see it a lot next week at Indy and a little bit at the road and at the road courses if need be. But you see right here, they're coming off 4 off 3 right here. The 14, he wants to get rid of the draft, but he's got no help. The 48 tries to move away from the 1. A lot of these guys are going to try to use this technique to pull away from other people. But unfortunately, sometimes you can crowd a guy down low, like you saw right there between the 48 and the 14. And moments ago, this happened. Yeah, you see Cassie Cupster is very upset at the 48 for crowding him down to the inside wall there. These restarts also are going to be pretty chaotic too. Especially for guys who are in the back. A lot of guys fan out 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide in the corners. Late in the race, we had a wreck coming off turn 2 because drivers were going 4 wide. You see right here, supposed smoke reporting out of turn 2. Turn 3. And caution. Supposedly the grass down here in turn 1. Hold on. Rumors that somebody supposedly there was a the smoke, see the fire department being placed to that area. Right there. As they have taken care of the situation. Think about it. A lot of these guys fly into these corners, especially turn 1, very fast. Almost 205 was the speed recorded by Derek Lewis into that first turn. Which basically means if there's visibility such as smoke, it gets very dangerous, especially going as we look down into turn 2, because that's the furthest point away from the track these spotters can't see. So a lot of guys occasionally just go by feeling, kind of feel their way through until they get down into the tunnel turn. Especially on these chaotic restarts, which 3 laps in, we're going to have one. These ones are quite the show. I have to say so myself. Sometimes they do get a little crazy. However, it's early in the race. A lot of differences, just gotta wait and see. Here we go. You said it right there. Fan it out already. 3, 4 wide, 88, 42. He had to cut down to maybe try to block the 88. He had to be careful right there to not run the 88 into the grass. And now they're 4 wide going into turn 1. Yikes. That's really going to back some guys up. And I mean, look at this. They're clogging the field up right here. It's just going to turn into a roadblock, and it's later just going to crash a bunch of cars. In fact, they're 3 wide, those 2-3 rows back. Now Dylan Murway is he's breaking the drafts. He's running it like it's a restrictor plate race. Typically, you're going to see a lot of guys try to this race like it's a restrictor plate race. You can go in to the tunnel turn 3 wide, but you see right here, it's kind of got to watch out a little bit. Some of the pack racing has diffused a little bit. But at the same time, kind of clog this group up. Especially towards the front between, the 22 and all those guys. Making their way down into off 3. They're 78 basically rim riding around, try to take third. As they come off turn 4 or 3. Oh, trouble. Car is crashing. Got a couple gotten together. Oh yeah, definitely big crash. I see Caleb Hoffman in this. He's the first car to go get sideways. It also looks to me like the 3 car got in this as well. Caution flag is out. Second one of the afternoon. Major damage to the 3 car. Major contact. Initially, first glance, see the 19. He looks fine, initially with damage, but at the same time, he hit basically on the rear wheel. Got hit as he spun on the rear wheel. So think about destroyed the left rear axle. Caleb Hoffman, his day is done. Unfortunately. That's just the way things go sometimes. The car just got loose under somebody got that 19 car loose, and then it just created a bad situation. And speaking of bad situation, the 19 tried driving away, but the wheel came off. The left rear wheel broke. Caleb Hoffman is definitely going to be finishing tonight and today at Pocono in last. Also, like to remind you that our Wendy's race menu next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, is the Brickyard 400 at Indy. That can be seen on NBC. Then later that Saturday night, we're going to be down in North Carolina. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on TNT with the Discover Car Countdown to Green. And then basically the beginning of the road course swing broken up by Michigan. Coverage at Portland begins at 2:30 p.m. on NBC, and then Michigan on TNT. As we get closer and closer to the playoffs, we notice that these races are going to get more and more intense, especially after Michigan. We got the 2 new road courses basically back to back, which means it's going to leave a lot of opportunity for road rage. And speaking of frustration, here's what the 88 had to say about the 42. We all but wrecked right there, guys. That's crap. The 42, I was no position to pass the 42, but he basically tried running us down to the apron. Honestly, he's lucky we all didn't wreck. I didn't wreck half the field right there, because that should have been a big wreck. Somebody needs to watch that guy. Oh yeah, If he does it again, you have permission to dump him. What an idiot. Well, motion can sometimes run hot, especially at a track like this. But we got a race to run. Pace car is off. Green. Another tame restart. Surprisingly, the inside line actually went this time. And Dylan Murray drives off into the corner. Clears him. Look at that. Drove it in there deep. Question is, can the 78 get to him off too? Definitely a little tamer restart. There are 5 laps of racing to go in today's Pocono 400. Hopefully we don't have any further incidents. Going sideways. Couple of them. Further back. The 11 of Sports Center Cup Series has just got turned right into the 41 and right into the wall. The way I was looking at that, definitely was a spotter type wreck. And at the same time, 25 just had to let off. Heavy suspension contact and a very heavy hit for the 11. And the 41 of Hunter Rizzoni is the other car involved. So, another caution and another headline, especially as we get close to the chase. Remember, the 11 is one of the drivers involved, and he doesn't look too happy. I believe he's looking for someone. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Sports Center Cup Series upset the 25, what took place on the racetrack. Oh, well then. This just happened. The 11 basically just drove all the way across the racetrack and just tried taking out the 25. As NASCAR has just told the 11 team and the 25 team after the race to take it on the wall and go to the bus. Here's the replay. I mean, off turn 2, you see 25 gets behind the 11. Looks like he's trying to help the 25 along, the 11 along. It's in there, gives him a pretty good push, but he gets too far to the left. It's just like what we talked about last week at Daytona. If you get too far to the left or the right of somebody, especially when you're pushing them, it's just going to get them loose, and they're going to go in the wall. Heavy contact, heavy hit for the 11. and the 41. And oddly enough, this actually looked kind of similar when you really think about it to Kurt Busch and Elliott Sadler's crash back here in 2010 that were basically removed and made the walls a lot safer. It was the call for the safer walls back on the backstretch here at Pocono. Here it is, real time. Let's listen to some radio communications by the 17 of Brian, by the spotter, the 17, Mike Hillman Jr. Ready? All right, inside, careful. All right, clear 11, clear 11, 11's clear, you're cleared the 11. Oh, wrecking behind you, big wreck behind you, caution's out, get out of the throttle. That's pretty severe impact for the 11. The 41 is down on pit road. He's got extensive damage himself. The 25 drove by the 11 stall because the 11 came across the track and slammed into the side of him. As yeah, he just drove by and just flipped him off. Oh, now I see his story. 11 got turned into the wall. It was a simple wreck. They're going to be calling the 25 to the reason they called the 25 back to the haulers post-race partially is because it's procedure by NASCAR whenever there's an altercation on the racetrack. They always call both parties involved to the trailer, even if one guy, it was accidental and looked aggressive, is what I'm saying. As of right now, we're getting close to 3 p.m. It's actually, you've set up pretty fast pace. In this race today. And I mean a crazy fast pace. Three laps to go. Looks to be one of the more intense, probably one of the more intense restarts we're going to see most of the year. Hunter Zoni joining the track in 31st. Meanwhile, up front, Dylan Roy has the lead. Hand out the window. Green flag. What a push. He definitely saw that path. Saw it come. Oh, somebody's out. Yep, somebody just ran out of fuel. Looks to be that 14 just wouldn't go. Oil pressure. No oil. 14's gone. And what a crazy restart. Right there. Everybody trying to miss the 14. They just got to make 2 more laps. Around this. here on this restart. The 14 has gotten out of the way. Sure, he may have had to cut across a couple lanes of traffic, but he's out of the way and going down pit road backwards. If we get another caution, he can just... Yep, he's done. He's staying stalled on pit road. If NASCAR doesn't waive a caution, he is out of the way. I don't really see why they would need to waive it. However, he is out of the way. We could possibly see a caution here. There it is. Just came on. Wait, no caution. Remember, he's out of the way. Now we got 4 cars literally in a dogfight for the win. Possibly more if 5 Hunter Miller has anything to say or do about it. He just made 3 wide at Pocono, especially in the tunnel turn. Just made that work just by driving it in deep on the outside. Hello. Not much. Watch it again, guys. Yeah. Yeah, I'll show that here most of the day. Were they all the same radiator? Yeah, good. I put away a lot of the 2216. All the brakes on top. You feel so fast. We go to the one off on right? The one by Barnes, Noble, all those places. So wait, don't forget to drive the block track in that. The block track in Colorado. not complaining. I'm not complaining. We're gonna do it. Yeah, I learned about credit card handling today. No, they sent us, how to handle a credit card, standard procedure. If you undo certain drugs, it looks like other drugs, you're going to be fired. Props to that. You'll be subjected to a drug test too. Not right now. Very good. Can you not see your coconut right now? God almighty. They have not waived the caution. Of course, my dad had to call me right in the middle of the race. Here they come to the white flag here at Pocono. They're itching to wreck. I can already tell you right now, there's going to be a big wreck down here if they get down to turn 1. Oh, contact. One just got turned into the 16. Looks like by the 42. Probably going to be a wreck, going to be a wreck, going to be a wreck, going to be a wreck. Dylan Murray, can he hold off this 70, the 78 and the 88? And now it looks like both these cars have tire issues. And Hunter Miller, if he could get to the front or at least get into the top 5, it could be a pretty. He could be a threat for this win. And cars crashing. Spin, crash, big. Oh, Nate Sherman has hit the wall on the 8th bottom. There is no yellow. No yellow yet. Will they let them race back? He has kept the car straight. Here comes the 78. Drove it in deep on the 4. Here he comes. Side by side. What a fit. Oh, big crash. Turn 3. Turn 2. That's it. That's the race. That's the race. There it is. And now there's a wreck. They let them race back. Caution comes out. Now who is in front? That is the question. Who was in front at the moment of yellow? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Big wreck behind you. Big pilot behind you. Big crash. Big crash, bud. Big wreck. People are saying the 4 just got a nose ahead. Looks like 78 definitely had the gap going into 3. 78 just, he got loose. Got loose. The 4 drove off. And the wreck starts because the 43 drove in and basically took the 17 and the 2 out. The 42, there's some of the people involved. These guys, the 4 has won just by an inch getting to the line. I mean, an inch, just barely stuck his nose ahead. And basically, as most of these drivers drive away from this accident, see the 27 coming across. He is going to finish 11th this afternoon. Jake Basinger coming across in 12th. He had his flip back here in season 2. Jacob Tube, he was one of the drivers involved in the pile on the last lap. He's being scored 13th despite slipping back in the late stages of the race. At the moment, the cars that did sustain some pretty substantial damage in this accident that we know of, there's about 7 guys getting mixed up in that wreck on the last lap. Most of them were able to make it around, some with worse damage than others. Nate Sherman, after his slam into the inside wall, he did not get going. He pulled off to the pit road entrance where safety vehicles were. He is going to finish 28th by the time this one's over. And only, surprisingly, we've had the average amount of cars fail to finish a race this season, which is usually 4 or 5, depending on how crazy the race can be sometimes. And just a reminder, next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, noon Mountain, 1 p.m. Central, and 10 and 11 a.m. on the West Coast is the Brickyard 400. Again, just a reminder, 11 a.m. West, 12 Mountain, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific is the 2 p.m. Eastern is the Brickyard 400. That you can have that next Sunday on NBC. As we take a look at the rest of the unofficial results. See them scrolling across the screen. Three cars crashed. I mean, technically, KFC Cup Series was running at the finish, just with low oil pressure. If you go behind the wall, you'll be marked as retired. The 19 and the 3, both of them went behind the wall because of the crash that they had. The 11 behind the wall went behind the wall because of the crash and the extracurricular activity. And speaking of extracurricular activity, we have a fight in the garage. Matt. Alan Bestwick. Alan, there's a big fight down here in the garage. Looks like the 11 pit crew went down, found the 25, the pit crew of Noah Spalding. Shoves are starting to break out. Then eventually it just turned into then some punches are being thrown. People are tackling each other. Definitely an intense situation. We'll get a word on some of the drivers here in a moment. Looks like, Noah Spalding was in the middle of this too. He's being pulled away by his crew, the crew of the 25, and which means Sports Center Cup Series is in the middle of this. So emotions definitely run hot here at Pocono. Not the track you expect them, but hey, they run hot. As we wait things out. Looks like we caught up with Sports Center Cup Series. Abe Burns is caught up with him. Hey, can you take us through what happened on that incident? Pretty simple. I got dumped. Very concise answer. Very frustrated. Looks like he's going to the hauler. Noah Spalding is at his hauler with where he's waiting with Bill Weber. Thanks, Alan. No, it was very emotional after this race. Can you take us through what happened at the incident with the 11 that eventually escalated to this? I was just trying to help him, honestly. I was trying to give him a bump past the 41. He seemed like he had a fast car. I offered to help him. It was kind of a mistake because I didn't want to push him too far into 3. Kind of a big mistake on my part. Totally my fault for driving through him, but what he did afterwards, where he basically drove his wrecked car right into me, that's got to be unexcusable. If we got to solve things with if we come down to solving things with wrecked race cars, then I should be then everybody's going to be hurting people, and it's sickening. And I hope NASCAR does something about this. Very opinionated take on what just happened on the racetrack. We'll send it back upstairs to Alan. Emotions definitely running hot after this one. Anyways, looks like Dylan Murway is the victor, going back-to-back after his win today, this Sunday at Pocono. Congratulations to him. Remember, next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Brickyard 400 on NBC. Tune in then. But remember, Saturday, noon, qualifying will be on TNT. So we can send the set up the 34 car grid for Sunday's race.